Hey everyone, this is Jan, and this is another special episode of Sketchalona. In this week's episode, we're checking out the sights and sounds of the capital of the Philippines, Manila. A city of more than 10 million people, it is easily as spread out as LA, so we spent a lot of time driving around. Luckily, my friends here showed me all the best sights and best places to eat. So let's get going with a little history lesson, shall we?
Together with the military barracks in 1714. It was destroyed in the battle.
So right in the heart of the city, you find this century-old fortress, Fort Santiago. And it is here that we're due for a little history lesson about the founding father of the nation, Rizal. Say founding father, but Rizal was not a military man like a George Washington or a Willem of Orange of my country, Holland. He was much more of a very well educated, very well traveled artist, and would you believe it, he even made comics. Just in case you're new to this channel, my name is Jan, and every week I kind of show you the going-ons in my sketchbook and what I've been up to art-wise, and a lot of my art has to do with comics. I'm making my own comic book, Phosphor, a little sci-fi adventure, and I'm always doodling away, practicing my craft, as you can see here. So to travel this far and get to visit an old site like this fort that somehow managed to survive the destruction of the Second World War, when this city was pretty much leveled. In fact, many of the older parts of town that surround this fortress, that I'll show you a little later on, were actually rebuilt. It's just a little fitting testament to what Maui singing here in the background taught me about the Philippines. Means that no matter what calamity befalls them, whether it's the typhoons that have been pummeling away at them this season, or empires visiting their nation one after the next, they're a resilient bunch, and they just keep on trucking. So it was during drawing this little face here, which is another one of those made-up faces, not using reference, just to see if constantly drawing faces from reference actually sinks in, that this thing hit me, this thing that I picked up on once, about how scientists believe that we recognize each other. I can't remember where I saw this or where I heard this, but basically this comes from research into how the brain processes recognizing all these different faces. It is believed that one of the reasons our brains are as capable as they are is because we lived in increasingly large groups of people, and in order for us to keep up with the gossip and all the going-ons in our social surroundings, like, we need to be able to tell one apart from the next, and to do that very fast, to keep us safe. They figured it would have to be something really, like, fairly primal but fairly simple, even though people can, of course, look pretty different from one another. But you can imagine, especially in a group related to one another, like one's own tribe, the differences can be quite subtle. And so what they discovered was, when they looked into the brain, like how we look at people, that we basically use a kind of barcode where the eyes, the shadow of the nose, the shadows created by the lips, the line of the chin, the eyebrows, these create somewhat of a barcode that we very quickly latch onto and use to differentiate between one another And then afterwards, we start filling in more detail. We take in more information. So while doodling away on these couple of pages, I took note to make sure that those lines especially were emphasized with the thicker pen, you know, just to kind of play around with that and to feel how I looked at it. And wouldn't you know, by doing it and then pointing my camera at my pages to take picture, all of a sudden the camera just started recognizing faces on the page like super fast. Yeah, facial recognition. I had a bit of a moment drawing this. So little did I know beforehand, just in between the many hours spent driving around in Grabs, how much time I would be spending at shopping malls. But as you can see right here, some of these are actual faithful recreations of some more familiar sights to me, at least, coming from Europe. You know, where we all ride gondolas to work. While we were awaiting some authentic Italian pizza, it was time to whip out the old sketchbook and start doodling away again. Just whatever was in front of me, you know, just to keep things moving along. So we're at the Okada Casino here in Manila. It's like, it reminds me of Disneyland for some reason, but with worse music. Obviously we can't take a video inside the actual gambling areas, which are enormous and filled with all sorts of characters. Still extremely jet lagged, but we've made it to Makati. It's only day 2, but I already found a comic book store and got a Stranger Things comic. It's pretty good. If you could only feel the blistering heat here in Makati. And I had my first experience trying out some typical dishes. Who knew that there was yet another mall I hadn't visited? Besides trying the local cuisine, I was also forced to partake in the favorite pastime of most Filipinos, and that is, of course, karaoke. But don't worry, that video will never see the light of day. I mean, that would mean the end of my relationship. At this rate, I'm gonna have to start reviewing malls. How would one even go about rating malls? I bet there's a YouTube channel devoted to that, but it does make me wonder. Are the food courts separate videos, or do they just talk about the average distance to the nearest restroom? Speaking of branching out and moving out of comfort zones, I have been doing more Sketchdoodle Draw videos in which I draw lots and lots of characters. I try and keep those videos very short. But besides doing Sketchdoodle draws, I am opening up for commissions once again this December. So if you're interested in getting a commission of mine, I am still debating the price. I will announce that in a next video while I'm agonizing over it. But check this out. Here is Wolverine and the X-Men tackling the Fantastic Four. These are A5 sized drawings. Think of them as just a little bit larger than half a comic book page. And it might just be heading your way. If you are interested, just drop me a line at yanimalart@gmail.com. Thanks so much for watching. As always, if you like this video, hit me up down below, subscribe, and yeah, let me know what you think about the idea for opening up for commissions. If you're interested, I just told you, but in the meantime, be sure to check out my Sketchdoodle Draw if you'd like to see me draw some characters. So, and be sure to check in back next week when we'll be traveling down south to a trip to Batangas, to the city of Lipa, visiting some markets and trying out lots of new foreign foods and some of the local coffee.